What's up, crew? Welcome back to Libertalia Game Supply. Today we're going to take a look at this Tri-Brigade Bujin deck list that I put together. This seems to be a fairly popular variant of the deck, and it's not one that I've really been particularly interested, and to be entirely honest with you right from the front here, I still don't know that I am. Now, I can absolutely understand the attraction of this type of a build to someone who is not from the Judgment of the Light era, such as myself. However, I really don't like the way it takes away a lot of the Bujin characteristics of the deck. It does work really well in terms of being a grind deck. Essentially, what I feel the Tri-Brigades end up adding to the deck that the Bujin just don't have is a really solid grind game. So basically what you're looking at here is you're going to get all of your regular Bujin plays, the Torifun for the 2, and then you can ladder up in the Amaterasu and put another body on board. The only difference is that you want the Tri-Brigade half of the deck to be able to put the Link monsters on board along with the Xyz monsters. So I would say best case scenario is OTK with this deck, or you can still do that with like a pure Bujin or a Bujin by Steel deck. They all can still kind of do that. This one allows all of the pieces to be super interchangeable. So for anybody who may not know, all of the Tri-Brigade monsters have an effect while they're on the field where you can banish Beast, Beast Warrior, or Wing Beast monsters out of your graveyard in order to link summon with them all of the Tri-Brigade links that we're looking at down here. Now that's not half bad. It gives you a whole lot of solid extra deck monsters to play here and all of the Tri-Brigade extra deck monster support, but it does take away from all of the big explosive searchable plays that like pure build or a build that focuses more on the Bujins versus whatever the addition is would be able to do. So for instance, there will be no Photon Galaxy Dragon and no Photon Sanctuary, because if you limit yourself to just light monsters, it turns off your entire Tri-Brigade engine, and that would make the deck half useless, and why would we do that? But you can still do some interesting stuff with this deck, and it allows us to play this Bujin spell down here, Bujin Intersection, that we normally wouldn't play, and so it makes it kind of interesting. Now, if you've seen any of my many Bujin deck lists in the past, you're probably pretty familiar with this whole 20 cards in the middle would do, and so we won't cover those here. If you want to have a more thorough explanation, I got plenty of deck lists on the channel, you can check those out. We'll focus more on the cards that are a little bit of a new addition to the deck. So we've got the Triple Fractal, which acts as a Foolish Burial for level 3 and lower Beast, Beast Warrior, or Wing Beast. Essentially what we're looking for here is to be able to open either the Fractal or the Karas, which we'll cover in a second. The Fractal will then discard itself to dump the Nerval. Nerval, when it gets sent to the graveyard, can add a Tri-Brigade from your deck to your hand. In that case, we're going to search the Karas, and then you have one half of your 2-card combo there. Karas is important because it has an effect to special summon itself at the cost of discarding a Beast, Beast Warrior, or Wing Beast. And while you're looking at the deck list here, you can probably see that 24 of these cards fit that requirement here, and so you're probably going to have that one piece of discard that you need. And then our final Tri-Brigade monster is Kit. And this one basically just acts as a Foolish Burial as well. You could Fractal, send the Kit, Kit, send the Nerval, and now you have 3 monsters in the graveyard in order to use as link material, and you still get to search that Karas. As far as the spell and trap lineup, I'm not playing Small World in this build because there's a lot more variables than what you can Small World bridge with. These do all sort of work, however the ones that aren't Beast Warriors make it a lot harder to bridge between monsters, and so it's just not quite as valuable. I suppose you could change these Ash Blossoms into a Nibiru or an Effect Veiler or a Ghost Ogre. However, if you open Small World plus one of those light hand traps and all you have are some Tri-Brigades to work with, now you can't even activate the Small World at all. We've got our double Bujin Intersection, and this is useful because it just fills up that graveyard, which is what we're going to use as resources in order to link summon. I suppose it does also provide that onboard protection for your Bujin Beast Warriors, but you're really not going to leave too many of those on board almost ever, so that effect is a little bit irrelevant. The reason we're playing it is because it has an effect negation ability. Once per turn, you can send from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard a Bujin monster in order to negate the effect of a face-up card your opponent controls, so that could be monster, that could be a spell or trap that is continuous, a field spell, anything like that. And then during your end phase, you can send this face-up card from your field to the graveyard, and then target a Bujin monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And what it does is, if you control a linked monster, send one Tri-Brigade card from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard, then target one effect monster on the field, apply the following effects based on the type of card sent to the graveyard. Monster, change the target and monster's attack to 0 until the end of this turn. Spell, negate that monster's effect until the end of this turn, and trap, return that monster to the hand. So a lot of utility as far as an interrupt. It's a quick play spell. You can abuse some of the dump effects that the Tri-Brigades have, as well as the extra deck Tri-Brigades, and it works to fill up that graveyard with Tri-Brigade monsters in order to link summon with. And then our final Tri-Brigade addition to the deck that is a little bit outside the norm of a standard Bujin deck is going to be Tri-Brigade Revolt. When it's activated, special summon a number of Beast Warriors or Wing Beast monsters that are banished and or in your graveyard but negate the effects. Then immediately after this effect resolves, link summon one Tri-Brigade Link monster using only those monsters, and of course it's a once per turn. Now this will essentially act as an interrupt on your opponent's turn. You'll activate this, special summon 4, make the charade, get the banish, so on and so on. Now this is pretty nuts. It acts as a return from the different dimension. It's just exclusive to the Tri-Brigade archetype, more or less. And it does allow you a little bit of versatility because for the most part a lot of this deck operates on your turn, and so being able to put a few cards on the board that operate on your opponent's turn just kind of keeps you caught up with the meta. The extra deck is super standard Bujin stuff. We're playing a few of all the Bujin Xyz, the F-Zero package, and then the Zeus. And then on the Tri-Brigade side, we've got one Bear Brum, 2 Pharaohjet, the one Rugal, the double Shreg, and then the one Access Code Talker, just because it's pretty easy to summon in this deck. And really all we're looking for is to abuse the special summon effect from Bear Brum and possibly Pharaohjet, except the combo requires a whole lot of discards, so Pharaohjet's a little bit less valuable turn 1 and a lot more valuable once you get past turn 1 and a little bit more into the grind game. But let's run through that combo real quick right now and you guys can see what I'm talking about. Alright, so basically for this combo we're going to look at it as if it's our opening hand, so all you really need is the Torifun and the Karas. However, you need a lot of discard fodder, so you need one that meets the requirement of Karas, being a Beast Warrior or Wing Beast, so I just threw a random one in there that wouldn't help with the combo otherwise. And then you need 2 of anything to discard for Bear Brum. So the benefit of running the main 1.5 card Torifun combo but without the 0.5 card aspect with the Photon Galaxy Dragon is that it fills up your graveyard with a lot of stuff to banish to link someone with. Even if you can't quite make the Photon Galaxy Dragon for that F-Zero, we will still get to F-Zero and Sharag turn 1 here. So start with that normal summon of Torifun. We're going to activate that Torifun, we're going to banish. Torifun's going to summon 2 of anything, so normally we would go for the Mahitatsu. In this deck it doesn't matter so much because we're not looking for that Foolish Burial effect because of so many of the cards in the graveyard ending up just being banished fodder for link summons. So in this instance we'll summon the Arasuda and we'll grab the Hare. We're going to immediately make the Susanoo with the monsters we got on board, and we're going to ignore that Torifun effect every time. So Susanoo's effect will activate, we're going to search, and we're going to grab the Rank Up. We'll only play on the 1 just because you're not playing nearly as big of a Bujin extra deck monster package. We'll activate our Haruko to rank up our Susanoo into an Amaterasu here, and then Amaterasu's effect we will use right away after we ignore that Torifun. And then we'll use that Amaterasu effect right away. We'll detach 1 to special summon the Haruko to get that extra body on the board. Then here it will shift over to the Karas. So for Karas, we will discard our spare Beast Warrior, or Wing Beast in order to special summon itself. We're then going to use the Karas's effect on board to make the Bear Brum. You can banish any 2 you want. I guess we'll leave the Centipede in case you end up wanting it later. And we'll summon the Bear Brum. Bear Brum's effect is going to activate. We'll discard our 2 spare cards in hand. We'll special summon the Arasuda. And then we're going to special summon another Susanoo. This is why I would play 2 always. I would never play less than 2 Susanoo. And usually I'm going to play 3. We will activate the Susanoo, detach whatever you want, it does not matter, and we'll get an extender in hand. It's going to have to be Harume in this instance because we cannot force the banish for our Arasuda. We're going to activate the Harume, we're going to banish something that we don't need, and we're going to put it on board. And then here you can make your F-Zero with your Susanoo and your Amaterasu, and then you can rank up your F-Zero into the good F-Zero. And then with the monsters we have remaining on board, you can make Sharag. So we'll go with Bear Brum and the other 2 monsters. We'll make the Sharag. So now remember, this can be a pretty good play going first or second. If you're going first, you're going to set up the F-Zero first in order to control the board a little bit, and then you'll make the Sharag. You won't get the Sharag's banish ability. However, on your following turns, you will always have an interrupt available. Going second, you're going to make the Sharag first, get the banish, make the F-Zero, and then you're going to use the F-Zero to protect the Sharag because then you have that 1 pop effect every single turn no matter what you draw into. Now you will still have access to that Bear Brum effect to add a Spell or Trap Tri-Brigade card from your deck to your hand and then return a card from your hand to your deck. If you're going second, you would still have 1 spare card in your hand to put back, so you can search for that Tri-Brigade Revolt, and it sets you up for a on opponent's turn summon of a Tri-Brigade Link monster. Now this deck does have its strengths. It does a few things pretty well that a more pure Bujin build would not do well. However, I personally still like Bujin Bi-Steals or even just pure Bujins a little bit more, only because it holds a little bit more of that Bujin soul within it. And you know how I am. I didn't have room to fit Yamato and Mikazuchi in here. I think that's bullshit. But to each their own. If you try this deck out, let me know how it goes. If you've got some super secret, awesome, interesting text, let everybody know down below. Happy deck building. May the Bujin Lords be with you. I will see you in the next one. Have a good one. Goodbye.